Okay, here's the way that I see it. There are 3 levels to transforming not only your physique, but your life as a whole. The issue is that most of you guys get stuck at either level 1 and most commonly at level 2. So we're gonna go through each of these levels explaining exactly why you might be stuck at that level and exactly what that level entails. We're gonna discuss how you can take yourself from that 2nd level to that 3rd level, which is the best version of yourself. Now, before we continue, one thing that you have to acknowledge is your current position. Don't be delusional and think that you're somewhere that you're not. Meaning that if you're on level 1, if all the signs are pointing to it, don't sit here and act like you're on level 2 just because you're thinking you're right around the corner from progressing to level 3. If you're on level 2 and you hear some things that I'm saying that's hurting your feelings because you always thought that you were on level 3, instead of getting mad, take the advice and apply it to your own life so you can actually get to that level 3. Because it doesn't matter how delusional you are in your head. If you're not there, you're not there. With that being said, let's start off with level 1. It's what I like to call the lost beginner. This is that stage in your life where you've probably neglected health and fitness. You've neglected the fact that you have a problem, but now it's getting to the point where you're realizing like, I can't neglect this no more. It's getting bad. I need to do something about it. So now you're acknowledging the problem that you have and you're ready to fix it. You have all that ambition, you have all that motivation, and you're ready to get started. The problem is that you have no structure and you have very low self-confidence. The reason you have low self-confidence is because you're stepping into a space, the fitness space, that you've never been in before. This is a very strange environment for you. You don't know how to navigate your way through it. There's a whole bunch of gurus, a whole bunch of false information out there that's gonna lead you the wrong way. So you're very scared. So you're probably at that stage where you're doing your research and you're filling your mind with all these possible paths to go down, but you're stuck on overthinking about where to start because you want the most optimal and the most perfect route. Here's the truth. If you're sitting in this spot, pick a point and start. That's the best advice I could give you because there's nothing else you can do, especially you being by yourself, never being in that space before. The only way you're gonna learn is through trial and error. What does that involve? That involves picking a way of eating, picking a workout, and getting started. As you go on throughout time, you will notice what works and what doesn't work, and you will get better from there. But that doesn't start to happen until you start to make it happen. Now, at this stage, you're also gonna lack self-discipline completely, and you're not gonna be consistent at all, because if you've neglected your health and your fitness for the majority of your life, and you've gotten to a point where it's now bad, you are probably not self-disciplined in any other area of your life. And that's the honest truth. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, well, like there are some successful people that aren't necessarily in shape. You are 100% right. They are an anomaly. That's very rare. The majority of successful people are physically in shape. So that's level 1. To get to level 2, you need to shift your perspective about getting into shape. When you first step into the space, it's because you have a physical problem. Right? You might be fat, you might be skinny fat, you might be super skinny. There's many different physical goals that you can have. But in order to actually succeed in fitness, you need to view it as more than just building a physical body. Now, how do you do that? Well, you need to dig deeper into why does that bother you so much? Is it because you don't fit in clothes the way you want to? Is it because you've been bullied? Is it because you got to that point because of some traumatic experience that you went through? Does it have to do with being in a relationship and letting yourself go? There is always a deeper reason for why you want to get into the fitness space. But here's the one warning I have about that. If you are trying to build a body just to get revenge, just to get validation from the outside world, there's 2 things that can happen. 1, you'll never make it to that point because your intentions were terrible. Or 2, you'll make it to that point because you built an obsession, but once you get there, you'll get the external validation, whatever you wanted, it won't last. you'll still end up feeling empty inside because you have no purpose. After you figured out your why, you're going to reconstruct who you are as a person. Because level 2, what I like to call it, is the identity shift. Now, based on what I've been talking about in my past couple videos, you might think, well, Dustin, isn't the identity shift level 3? No, that's the reason a lot of you guys are very, very stuck in level 2 and cannot progress to level 3. Because you think after you make the identity shift and you become successful in fitness, that's it. So now, how do you shift your identity? Well, first, you need to analyze the person you are now. Your habits, how you carry yourself, your discipline, what is your cause, who you are as a person. And that involves questioning everything about your life. To your music taste, to the clothes that you wear, to the people that you hang around with, to the way that you talk. After you've done that, you're going to reconstruct yourself into the best version of yourself, which is who you want to become. Is he confident? How does he dress? How does he treat people? What kind of things does he give his time to? And what kind of things does he push away? What are his standards? What kind of responsibilities does he have and take care of? And once you've differentiated between these two people, you're going to start acting like the second one. Although physically you might carry the attributes of this first person, you will no longer identify with this first person. You will start acting and instilling the habits of this new person. Because through the concept of consistency compounds, after practicing those good habits and the routine throughout time, you will not only physically become that person, but you will mentally become that person. Your whole identity will shift and change into this person. So now we're up to the point where you're like, well, this sounds great. So what's the problem? Level 3 is the best version of you. That involves being confident, being in shape, but having high standards in every area of your life. The key phrase there was every area of your life. The reason that you can't get from level 2 to level 3 is because your whole personality is revolved around fitness. Every time somebody comes to talk to you, you're talking to them about macros, about what workout you just did at the gym, about progressive overloading. That's the issue. After you've become successful at fitness, you don't use what you've learned and the skills that you've gained, and you don't pour it into another area of your life that's lacking. You don't find something else to master and become successful at. You just stick with this one thing and make it your whole world. So that confidence that you have when you're in the gym, when you're talking about the gym, when you have your shirt off showing your physique, you don't carry that same confidence when you talk to people normally in the outside world. When you go about whatever you're trying to achieve, all of a sudden you hurdle up and become that person from level 1. So how do you fix this and get to level 3? Well, now that you have become successful at fitness, which is something that's never ending, there's always going to be a new level to reach in fitness, so that's why you're always working. But the difference is that now you have the hang of it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have your proven system that's going to keep you running. Now you need to look at the rest of your life. Do you know where you're going? What career are you pursuing? Are you trying to start a business? What are your interests? What new hobbies are you trying to start? Are you trying to learn how to do something new? Well, if so, now you need to take all those good character traits that you develop through your fitness, and you need to apply them to these other areas of your life. So what does that look like? Well, let's say I was trying to start a business. Okay, I'm gonna take the self-discipline, the confidence, the resilience that I got from fitness, and I'm going to transfer it over to trying to build a business. Once that starts to build up From business, you will learn new things. You will develop new skills. Now, let's say I wanted to try something else. Now I'm going to take what I learned from fitness and what I learned from business. I'm going to put it together, and whatever applies to that new thing, I'm going to use it to then help me become successful at that. It's a never-ending cycle. You keep developing, you keep doing better, you keep trying to learn new things, because if you think you know it all, you will not progress in life. And that is how you take yourself from level 2 to level 3, and from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. If you're somebody out there who's really struggling with this, there's a link down below to talk one-on-one with me. My Instagram is also linked down below. Besides that, leave a comment about any other topics you want me to cover.